WrestleMania finally wrapped up last night after a 2-night extravaganza. It's so funny because I was watching the Fed back in the time when they made the decision, well, the first conscious decision to do a 2-night event. But when you only have, 12 or 13 matches this time around, the last time that they had a single night event was WrestleMania 35 in New York, and that thing went on for ages. And there was 15 or 16 matches on the card. This time around, it's like you don't even have that many across 2 nights, and most of your matches outside of your main events don't even go 15 minutes. It's like you probably could have wrapped everything up once. But trust me, guys, the product is really hot right now. Everything's fantastic. Cody finished the story. It's going to be great for a couple of months until they realize that this is a white meat babyface. There's not a lot of heels on the roster, and everybody else that's there doesn't quite stack up to the stars of yesteryear. So I look forward to seeing the fallout of this stuff. And as cool of a moment and as viral as it's going to be going, it's all going to be done in service of what happened the night before, the Saturday, the main event of Saturday. And that was when The Rock, in the tag match that headlined night one, The Rock and Roman Reigns against Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes, The Rock pinned Cody Rhodes, meaning that probably at SummerSlam, if we're going to keep it a buck, we're going to have The Rock versus Cody, or maybe it's WrestleMania next year. But I also kind of think, first of all, I kind of thought the decision to, put the belt on Cody was a bit premature for as much revisionist history. It's like, I've been paying attention to this stuff for a while, and them trying to say that, oh man, this whole year-long build of Cody coming back with Roman, it's like, they weren't intertwined at all until the Royal Rumble. So Cody was working on Raw. They had them both separated together. Like, you could have spent this entire year knowing that you guys are bringing in a bunch of other Samoans. Okay, you got Jacob Fatu. Tama Tonga is supposed to be coming in. You could have actually drafted Cody over to SmackDown. He could have ran through the rest of the bloodline. Then you could have had this huge build-up and done the handoff there. You could have had Roman go over the modern-day championship streak he was only 100 and some odd days out from, and looking at his title defense track record, he easily would have done that because he probably wouldn't have had to defend the belt until, I don't know, when they go to the Saudi in the next couple of months. So, hey man, that's what they want to do now. I have no idea who his first challenger would end up being. I don't know. I think they just freed up Gunther. That was another fumbled handoff, but don't worry about it. I'm sure this time around was the fourth time that Sami Zayn has held the belt, even though he wasn't in the conversation for that match until the last minute pivot to take Brock off the card. Yeah, no, definitely. All of that stuff is not hot-shotted, but the product's really hot right now, guys. Trust me, it's great. Just don't pay attention to any of the ratings that are going to come out post WrestleMania. Like this week, it's going to be fine. Okay, all of the fallout, it'll be wonderful. They'll announce the draft. The draft, it's always a big gimmick. They'll pop somewhat of a number. They put it over a couple of weeks' time. But if we take a look at the numbers leading up to SummerSlam, take a look in the Mays and the Junes, oh boy, it's not going to be good. It is really not going to be good. And trust me on that one, because there's not going to be The Rock around this time. And it's not like The Rock was really setting things on fire. He's drawing a lot of eyeballs on social media. But yeah, take a look at those numbers on television, and brother, outside of him making some spicy promos, not a lot to be remembered by, because this is going to be the point in time where everybody looks back and goes, wow, The Rock just came back and he said stuff that other guys on the roster aren't really allowed to say. He got away with a whole hell of a lot, and then he just up and left because, well, he's going to be filming a movie. Okay, I'd be surprised if he appears on Raw tonight, because what's there to say? What's there to say? It's so funny. He was intrinsic to the build-up of WrestleMania, even more so than Roman Reigns. Roman was just kind of standing in the back, mostly because his promo skills are never ended up getting to be that good. But trust me, he would have succeeded in any generation. The exact same boilerplate crap that we heard about John Cena, who returned and, I don't know, did a stare down with The Rock, harkening back to those 2 really great WrestleMania matches at 28 and 29. Weren't those fantastic? But yeah, Cena taking a rock bottom and then being a cheerleader for Cody at the end. It's like, okay, that's kind of weird. That entire main event was just absolutely wild, reading the cliff notes on that. It's like, why did The Undertaker appear? Oh, probably because they couldn't book Stone Cold on the night. Because The Rock and The Undertaker, like, they had some matches. All of them were bad. Go back and watch them, okay? I'm somebody who has gone back and I've done my homework on The Rock, and I was never the biggest Rock fan, mostly because a lot of his work was really sloppy, and they give this guy way too much credit on the microphone. He was all catchphrases. All of his best promo stuff came when he was breaking out of the Nation. I think that's irrefutable if you go back and watch that. But, oh, Don, what about the best rated segment ever? What about This Is Your Life? Go back and watch that. How it is insufferable for people who give a shit about, how terrible that Alexa Bliss Bailey This Is Your Life segment was. It's not much better. Mankind, Mick Foley carries a lot of that stuff. And The Rock is just kind of the straight man, spouting a couple of catchphrases. Rudy Poo, Smackdown, People's Eyebrow, Pie. He didn't have any range. Kind of also talking about his acting career, but this is, I think, I've seen this popularized. I forget specifically who. I don't want to misquote her. I know I've seen this sentiment somewhere else out there, but The Rock taking a role, working in doing an A24 film, okay, The Smashing Machine. It's going to be a biopic about, MMA pioneer Mark Kerr, and it's going to be The Rock's response to Batista. And Batista's not a good actor. Okay, let's keep it a buck. That guy's absolutely trash, but he gets a lot of credit for being better than Hogan. Like, okay, cool. Really high bar that you have right there. But okay, because he's been cast in serious roles before, The Rock, for making a lot of money and basically making the same movie and playing the same role over and over again, has been kind of typecast. And well, an A24 film, by simple virtue of coming out of that studio, is going to get a little bit of a different eye put on it. So it's probably a smart decision that The Rock, transitions away from doing the whole big bombastic action films, because this is a guy who's pushing 50 after all. And a much more intimate story, doing a biopic, if he wants to start to, flex his muscles in a different way, okay, I'd hear it, because the Mark Kerr story's pretty interesting one. But a look inside, yes, Johnson's road to WrestleMania, not that Johnson, and I'm looking at his post-WrestleMania because, okay, yeah, building up, cutting all those promos, getting all of the smoke, being opposite Cody, and then just going to be disappearing into the ether. Yeah, it's noted in the piece that after WrestleMania 40, Johnson is going to be jumping right into filming the Smashing Machine biopic. He is playing the role of Mark Kerr. He's working out with an eye towards his next movie role, MMA legend Mark Kerr, in the upcoming Smashing Machine biopic. Johnson will jump right into it after that film, after WrestleMania. So in some ways, it's truly an MMA training camp. So yeah, he came out. He worked at incredibly long, what was it, like 45-minute long, night one main event. He hit a couple of moves, swung around a weight belt. Okay, fantastic, cool. And people want to give a shit to, Hulk Hogan during his WCW run. Okay. Dwayne comes in when the ratings are, going to be the best that the Fed is going to do all year, try to take credit for it in the aftermath, and then the moment that everything is going to be dropping off of a cliff, he's going to bounce out of town, only to come back ahead of their second biggest season of the year, ride that wave right there, and then just go to point when everything goes to shit by the end of the year. It's like, oh, see, when I'm not around, ratings, man, they're just in the toilet. You better put the championship on me one more time, brother, and we can run back Stone Cold and Rock one more time at WrestleMania. You think I'm joking, but that shit's definitely going to happen at one point in time. But something else that The Rock is doing that's also very interesting as well, him trying to appeal to a much wider market, and it also lets you know that the public at large, the opinion is definitely changing. I think we can see that with box office flop after box office flop, with companies and studios trying to push their own ideological agenda. Being hip to the establishment isn't quite as profitable as it used to. So you had Dwayne sit down on Fox News and proclaim that, I played my political hand in 2020. I endorsed Joe Biden, and you know what? It wasn't the best decision for me. The way that Benny Johnson characterizes this, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson says he regrets endorsing Joe Biden in 2020 and won't endorse him in 2024. Well, that's the gist of things, and that's the way that it's being disseminated out there. But thanks, Community Notes, for really coming to save the day on this one. This clip and post omit the full context of the interview. He stated publicly that he regrets sharing his political positions because he just wants to appeal to everybody, and in the process of doing as much, say it with me, guys, you end up appealing to no one. Going back to the rest of this, a very important context, because it was publicly divisive. Yeah, so The Rock doesn't want to take a stand. Fantastic stuff. Want to be an icon, but for no reason at all. He doesn't say he's not endorsing Biden because he regrets choosing him in 2020, but let's be honest, he's an entertainer. There's fewer entertainment dollars flowing around out there. He probably regrets his decision from 2020. He regrets endorsing any politician Right. And then they link out to this Variety article, which we have pulled up right here. But Dwayne Johnson says endorsing Biden for president in 2020 caused division that tears me up in my guts, and today's woke culture really bugs me. Yeah, he's trying to do a pivot. Okay, because if you remember that endorsement video that he had out there, I was just inconscionable. I can't vote for Trump. Nope, couldn't possibly do that. And Joe Biden's the best that we have out there, guys. He's using all the catchphrases. Okay, like this is a guy who built his career off of catchphrases. Everybody remembers what he does based on his catchphrases. And now he's trying to say, hey guys, this whole woke thing, yeah, it's really not all that good. If you hold him up as any sort of ethical individual, I don't know what to tell you. You are too far gone. Dwayne Johnson will not endorse any presidential candidate this year. Oh, thank God. Confirmed during an interview with Fox News. Yeah, because it's not politically expedient, because he understands his boy from 2020 ain't winning shit. The endorsement that I made years ago with Biden, yeah, he's just already trying to put distance between it, was one I thought was the best decision for me at that time. No, it was the one where you secured the biggest bag. Let's call it what it is. I thought I'm in this position where I have some influence, and I thought that it was my job then to exercise my influence and share. This is who I'm going to endorse. I'm not going to do that. I was then the most followed man in the world, and I am today, and I appreciate that. But what that caused was something that tears me up in my guts, which is division. That got me. And I didn't realize that then. How? You said, okay, you're trying to laud your voice. I was the most followed man. I had the biggest voice. I had the biggest megaphone in the room, and I was going to endorse this guy who was going to make the world a better place, not realizing that that would cause division. So either you're a liar or you're stupid. And trust me, The Rock is not stupid. He has made a bunch of really expeditious career moves throughout his entire career by not having to be the most physical in the ring, having a very short shelf life. Actually, in the Fed, making himself known not for his work rate, but instead his work on the microphone. And then also, in Hollywood, hopping into super popular franchises, Fast and the Furious, hooking up with Disney to be a part of other rekindled franchises. Jumanji immediately comes to mind, making $1 billion off of that. Come on. There's two excuses that are easily right there, but one holds a little bit more water than the other. Johnson continued. The takeaway after that was it caused an incredible amount of division. No. For the first time in a long time, you got organic pushback for why are you siding with a guy who's just so out of touch with the base that has known you and helped you out in your movies and in your wrestling career? Would you go ahead and generally turn your back on them? I realize now that going into this election, I'm not going to do that. My goal is to bring this country together. I believe in that, and there will be no endorsement at this level of influence. I will keep my politics to myself. It's between me and the ballot box. Yeah, exactly. What's that old quote? Just shut up and dribble. Because yeah, when I'm hearing somebody trying to lay the smack down, okay, or to just taste or offer some chick a pie, I'm not thinking, gee, was this guy's political slant? Who is he going to vote for every 4 years? I don't care. And that, I think, is what The Rock figured out very quickly, that a lot of athletes and celebrities were making their political voices heard, and because 2020 was a very different time, still riding that orange man bad wave, and him it just so happens to hop on that one side that is super popular and everybody else is, and then taking the temperature of the room in 2024 and going, ooh, yeah, all of those people are facing massive amounts of pushback. They don't have the same type of influence, and they're just getting lampooned. So now, hey guys, trust me, okay, I know that there's crazies on both sides, so I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to let everybody just live their life. I'm going to keep my politics to myself. It's so funny, in trying to take a step back in the political spotlight, you're acting more like a politician than you have in years, which is, kind of the funniest thing that Cody has ever done, with that little jab right there. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what The Rock does moving forward, not in the filmic sense. I couldn't care less. And then also what's going to happen with WWE, which, like I've stated many times before, I'm a fan of pro wrestling, but the two major companies that are out there right now, boy, the less said about them, the better. But unfortunately, we got to talk about the other one tomorrow. And brother, it's one of the biggest Monday Night Wars stunts that we've seen in a long time. And it's not something that makes you nostalgic in the best sense of the term. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.